800 rounds in. The rifle is hot. The bolt is filthy. And this is exactly when most tactical 308s start lying to you. A 308 platform on a showroom floor tells you nothing. The cartridge doesn't care how the rifle looks. It cares about heat. It cares about mass. It cares about what your gas system does when carbon starts winning the fight inside the bolt carrier. So I'm going to do something different. I'm not ranking these by reputation. I'm ranking them by what happens when the cartridge starts attacking the rifle. 8 tactical 308s, counting down. And the number 1 isn't number 1 because it's the most famous. It's number 1 because it's the only one on this list that was actually engineered from the cartridge outward. Stick around. By the end, you're going to be arguing with me in the comments. Number 8. Springfield Armory, M1A SOCOM. We start with a name everyone in this space respects. The M1A SOCOM is the shortened, modernized grandson of the M14. 19-inch barrel, gas-operated semi-auto in 7.62 NATO. About 9 pounds before you bolt anything to it. Here's the honest read. The mechanical heart of this rifle is rock solid. The lineage earned every bit of its reputation. But the SOCOM was designed when tactical ergonomics meant a wood stock and iron sights. Mounting a modern optic on this thing is a project, not a bolt-on. The trigger group architecture limits how far you can take it, and once you sling glass, a loaded 20-round mag, and a sling on it, you're carrying a real rifle, not a carbine. Push it past 200 rounds in a class, and you're managing weight, balance, and a frame built before anyone said the words free-float rail. Respect the M1A. Just don't pretend it competes with what came after. Number 7. Ruger SFAR. The biggest tax the 308 charges is size. Traditional AR-10 pattern rifles got heavy fast because the receiver had to be bigger to handle the cartridge. Ruger looked at that and asked a smart question. What if we shrunk the receiver instead of the cartridge? The SFAR runs a modified AR-15 scale lower with a 22-inch barrel pushing real 308 velocity. The result handles like a carbine and shoots like a battle rifle. That matters when you're moving with it. The reality check is the gas system. The SFAR is direct impingement, and direct impingement on a hot 308 means carbon, heat, and fouling all collecting right where you don't want them. Accuracy at practical distance is genuinely good. Handling is excellent. The ceiling is sustained fire. Ruger solved the size problem brilliantly. They didn't solve the heat problem. Number 6. IWI Tavor 7. Pick up a Tavor 7 with a full magazine and an optic, and the whole pitch makes sense in about 3 seconds. 16.5-inch barrel, under 27 inches overall. Full power 7.62 NATO. That math shouldn't work, but the Bullpup layout makes it work, because the action sits behind your trigger hand. You keep the barrel length without the rifle stretching out in front of you. Weight pulls back toward your shoulder instead of hanging on the muzzle. Move through a doorway with one, and you'll feel what I mean. Long-stroke piston system handles the heat well. IWI builds tough. The drawback most people skip past is the trigger. Bullpups will never feel like an AR trigger, and that's just physics. If you can live with that one trade, the Tavor 7 gives you something nothing else on this list does: carbine handling. Full 308 ballistics, and a layout built for tight work. Number 5. Daniel Defense Delta 5. Sub-MOA is the easiest claim in the rifle industry. Everyone prints it, almost no one earns it under field conditions. The Delta 5 is a different conversation because it's not trying to be a battle rifle. It's a bolt-action precision system. 24-inch cold hammer-forged barrel, rigid chassis, adjustable stock geometry, clean trigger. Every piece is pointing in one direction. Repeatable hits at distance. Here's why it belongs on a tactical 308 list and not just a hunting list. Tactical doesn't always mean semi-auto. Sometimes tactical means one shot, one decision, one solution. The Delta 5 rewards the shooter who slows down. No gas system setting the rhythm. No mechanical pace forcing the next round. You load, you break the shot. You cycle. That's it. If your version of tactical is patience and precision instead of volume, this is the rifle. And honestly, at the price point, It's one of the strongest bolt guns Daniel Defense has ever put out. Number 4. IWI Galil Ace Gen 2. IWI shows up twice on this list, and there's a reason for that. The Galil Ace Gen 2, chambered in 7.62 NATO, is one of the most stubborn rifles ever built. Stubborn in the best way. It does not care if you neglect it. Long stroke piston rooted in AK operating principles. Translation? Heat and fouling get pushed away from the bolt carrier instead of collecting on it. 16-inch barrel. Folding telescoping stock. Around 8 pounds bare. It feels designed for the day everything goes wrong. This is not a precision rifle. Stop expecting half MOA groups out of it, and you'll love what it does. At practical distance, it puts rounds where they need to go, and it does that on round 800 the same way it did on round 1. If your priority is endurance over everything, the Ace Gen 2 is the answer most people overlook because it doesn't have a tactical marketing budget. Number 3. B&T APC 308. Quick price check before we go further. The APC 308 is not a rifle most people walk into a shop and buy on impulse. Swiss engineering doesn't come cheap, but what you're paying for is what shows up when the rifle is hot. Short stroke piston. Modular receiver built to tolerances tighter than most American manufacturers run. The bolt carrier doesn't slop around when the system heats up. That tight mechanical behavior is the whole point. Less movement equals more consistent accuracy as round count climbs. The cost isn't just the price tag. The APC is dense, about 9.5 pounds bare. Load it up and you're carrying serious weight. That mass helps tame the 308's recoil and keeps the rifle stable. But you'll feel it on mile 3 of a ruck. The B&T isn't trying to be the lightest. It's trying to be the most controlled. Inside that lane, almost nothing on the planet beats it. Number 2. POF USA Revolution DI. Here's where it gets interesting. POF looked at the central weakness of direct impingement 308 rifles: heat, friction, and carbon adhesion in the bolt carrier group. And they engineered a specific answer instead of marketing around it. The bolt carrier wears an NP3 coating. NP3 is electroless nickel with PTFE bonded into the surface. Carbon doesn't grab onto NP3 the way it grabs onto standard phosphate. That means the carrier stays slick deeper into the round count. And POF applies it exactly where it matters: the carrier rails and the cam path. The contact areas, the places where friction kills cycling. Add the E2 extraction system, which gives the case a moment to release before extraction yanks it, and you've got a DI 308 that addresses the exact failure modes that punish DI 308s. 16.5-inch barrel, about 7.5 pounds bare. That's AR-15 territory with full house 308 ballistics. The Revolution DI isn't on this list for hype. It's here because the engineering is targeted at the right problems. Number 1. FN SCAR 17S NRCH. And here we are. The SCAR 17 SNRCH isn't number 1 because of the special operations resume, even though that resume is real. It's number 1 because of how it was designed. Every other rifle on this list was either built around the AR-10 lineage, the AR-15 lineage, the AK lineage, or the Bullpup concept, and then asked to handle 308. The SCAR started with the cartridge and built the rifle out from there. Short stroke piston, 16-inch barrel, non-reciprocating charging handle on the NRCH variant, which fixes the only legitimate complaint old SCAR shooters used to make. Around 8 pounds bare, which is impressive for a piston 308. Folding stock, monolithic upper for optics. Here's the verdict. The SCAR 17S doesn't survive the 308 cartridge. It manages it. Recoil impulse is engineered. Heat path is engineered. Bolt carrier travel is engineered for this cartridge specifically, not borrowed from a smaller platform. You feel the difference after 100 rounds. You really feel it after 500. It's expensive. It's been called overrated for years by people who haven't actually run one hard. Run one hard. And the argument ends. 8 rifles, 1 cartridge, and every one of them had to answer the same question. What happens when the 308 starts attacking the platform? Some answered with mass. Some answered with piston design. Some answered with precision discipline. And one answered by being engineered around the cartridge from day one. The rifle that beats the 308 isn't the one that looks the toughest. It's the one that does the math correctly. Now hit me back. Forget the spec sheets for a second. Which of these would you actually carry 10 miles on foot, in bad weather, and trust to run on round number 500? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you think I rank the SCAR too high or the M1A too low, I want to hear that argument too. More tactical breakdowns coming. Subscribe so the algorithm stops hiding them from you.